WXIA-TV, a company of Combined Communications Corporation.
11 Alive.
Good evening, I'm Ellen Burstein. Cobb County...
WXIA-TV, a company of Combined Communications Corporation.
11 Alive.
Good evening, I'm Ellen Burstein.
WXIA-TV, 11 Alive, Atlanta.
Good evening, I'm Ellen Burstein.
Scott Newell, Mary Rose, Brian Norcross, Jim Huber, and the 11 Alive Newsroom.
Equal Opportunity Employer.
Good evening, I'm Dave Michaels.
And I'm Scott Newell.
From the News Center of Georgia, this is 11 Alive News Tonight. John Pruitt, Chuck Moore, Johnny Beckman's weather, and sports with Art Ekman. This is what the world looked like 40 years.
From the News Center of Georgia, this is 11 Alive News Tonight. John Pruitt, Chuck Moore, Johnny Beckman's weather, and sports with Art Ekman.
This is 11 Alive News today for Friday, May 26th at 6:30. It is, listen to this, 73 degrees, humid degrees under overcast.
It's 5:30, and this is First News on 11 Alive.
John Pruitt, Kelly Morgan, Joe Washington with sports, and Johnny Beckman's weather. This is 11 Alive News at 6.
Good evening.
John Pruitt, Kelly Morgan, Joe Washington with sports, and Johnny Beckman's weather. This is 11 Alive News Tonight.
Good evening.
From WXIA-TV, 11 Alive, your around-the-clock news source. This is 11 Alive at 5. With Patricia Hunt, Bob Sokoler live in North Georgia, John Pruitt with First News, and Johnny Beckman's weather.
You're watching 11 Alive at 5 with Patricia Hunt, Bob Sokoler in North Georgia, Terry Merriman with today's news, and Bruce Arian in Skycam.
Well, good evening and welcome to 11 Alive at 5.
You're watching 11 Alive News at 6 with John Pruitt, Kelly Morgan, Joe Washington with sports, Johnny Beckman's weather, and Bruce Arian in Skycam.
You're watching 11 Alive News tonight. More local news coverage with Terry Merriman and John Pruitt, Johnny Beckman's weather, and sports with Joe Washington.
You're watching 11 Alive WXIA-TV. Atlanta's news channel. This is 11 News at 5.
Speed skate.
You're watching 11 Alive WXIA-TV. Atlanta's news channel. This is 11 News tonight. You're watching 11 Alive WXIA-TV. Atlanta's news channel.
This is a special Super Bowl edition of 11 News.
You're watching 11 Alive, your NBC station. And this is your weather now.
Good Thursday morning to you. Right now it is 46 degrees.
You're watching 11 Alive, your NBC station. And this is 11 News.
First, the value jet crash.
If I'm going to run an airline, I run it in a way that I'll put myself.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. Atlanta's official station for the Olympic Games. This is 11 Alive News at midnight.
After 6 years of planning, the cauldron burns the Olympic flame. The 1996 Centennial Games are underway in the city of Atlanta.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 5.
He's never aggressive. Isn't he?
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. 11 Alive News continues now at 5:30.
2 weeks after Georgia's worst mass murder in history, doctors deliver the best news a patient can hear to one of the survivors. Welcome to 11 Alive News at 5:30, where we give you nonstop news and weather in the first 11 minutes. Hello again, everyone. I'm Wes Sargent.
And I'm Dia Riley in for Brenda.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 6.
Cleanup continues in northeast Georgia tonight as some tornado victims receive the first signs of relief.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 6.
The FAA tells the major airlines what many passengers have said all along: cut down on the delays and improve performance records.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 11.
An 8-year-old Georgia girl goes from hiding to homecoming.
From 11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 11.
It was a rare sight that many Salt Lake City residents could have lived without. A tornado.
11 Alive, your NBC station. This is 11 Alive News at 11.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 5.
New developments in the murder of a Sandy Springs pizza shop manager. Plus,
You are watching 11 Alive News at 5 with Brenda Wood, Tia Riley, and Paul Osman with weather.
A jury in Waco, Texas ruled just about an hour ago that the
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 5:30.
It's a call that could turn out to be just as deadly as drunk driving.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 6.
Atlanta offers a second honeymoon to a couple whose first trip hit a major...
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you are watching 11 Alive News at 11.
Where is the shot?
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 6. You're watching 11 Alive News at 6, where you get top stories and your first look at weather in the first 11 minutes. Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 6.
Good evening and welcome to 11 Alive News at 6. I'm Brenda Wood.
Good evening and welcome to 11 Alive's Evening News. I'm Brenda Wood. Officials at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport are still trying to determine if a suspicious device found inside a men's bathroom.
From WXIA-TV Atlanta, you're watching the Evening News with Brenda Wood. Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 11.
Our top story tonight, the governor...
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at noon, Atlanta's first newscast in high definition.
Topping the news this afternoon, America...
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 6, Atlanta's first newscast in high definition. Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 6, Atlanta's first newscast in high definition.
Good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us for 11 Alive News at 6. I'm Ted Hall.
And I'm Karen Greer. After...
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching the Evening News with Brenda Wood, the first and only news in Atlanta in high definition.
Good evening and welcome to 11 Alive's Evening News. I'm Brenda Wood.
Watching my 11 Alive News at 10 with Karen Greer. 11 Alive News is Atlanta's first newscast in high definition.
And before we begin tonight's top 10 stories at 10, you get your forecast first, Ted.
Let's head over to Chris. Thank you, Karen. Let's head over to Chris.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 11. The first and only news in Atlanta in high definition.
And good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ted Hall.
And I'm Brenda Wood.
Live from WXIA-TV in Atlanta, you're watching 11 Alive News at 11, Atlanta's first newscast in high definition.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ted Hall.
And I'm Brenda Wood.
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News at 6 starts now.
And welcome to 11 Alive News at 6. Good evening, everybody. I'm Keith Whitney.
And I'm Valerie Hoff.
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News at 6 starts now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Brenda Wood.
And I'm Jeff Hullinger in for Ted Hall.
Broadcasting in high definition. The Evening News with Brenda Wood starts now.
Good evening and welcome. Well, he has...
11 Alive News at 10 starts now.
Yeah, it is a stormy night. And...
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News at 11 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Ted Hall.
And I'm Brenda Wood. Well, it's down.
11 Alive News at 11 starts now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Brenda Wood. Ted Hall has the night off.
Broadcasting in high definition. 11 Alive News at 11 starts now.
They serve and sacrifice, no questions asked. And tonight, new attempts to make sure our servicemen and women get all that they deserve.
Breaking news, while you were sleeping, the streets of Los Angeles turned chaotic after protests against the George Zimmerman verdict became violent. It is Tuesday morning, and I'm Karen Greer.
Karen's back from vacation. Welcome back again. I'm Ted Hall. We're glad you're joining us. Hi, everyone, and thanks a lot for joining us. I'm DeMarco Moore.
And I'm Brenda Wood. Well, good evening and welcome to the Daily 11 at 7, where you always get some of the day's most interesting stories and a rundown that we give you, starting with number 11. So here we go. Earlier.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Hellinger. Very
In tune with Atlanta.